What's going on? It's the SMX Book Club on this beautiful Tuesday prevening, which is the term that I'm just going to keep using from now on. It's not quite the afternoon. It's not quite evening. It's prevening.
Pre-evening.
Prevening. For all you with a watch on your wrist, that is 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Tuesday. And yeah, we're breaking down different books and different thoughts and just life. Marnie, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. I got
Kind
what
of
I
had to
needed to get
rush.
done today, and that feels nice.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Um, I'm going to be spending a little while in the office this evening. I told you a little bit about it, but ClickFunnels released their Sales Funnels AI,
Hmm.
which is like wow.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty
I'm going to
big.
be learning a little bit more about that a little bit later on. If we can get somebody just or something to just build out our stuff, whenever we need it, it'd be like
Right?
wicked cool. This is the path that we're going towards. I know a lot of you, especially in the inner circle, maybe the Hacker Nation, have seen that I've been playing around with AI lately, with like NVIDIA AI, Chat GPT 4.0, and so on and so forth. And it's helping out. I mean, our visits, just based on the content that I've been able to create in the last week, have tripled to our website.
Right.
So, I mean, it's cool. Like, if I want to get an article out there on, let's say, affiliate marketing, because it's one of the things on my mind, I can have one built about the foundations of affiliate marketing for beginners, have an article up and have it shared within 15 minutes
Yeah.
with a generated visual. I kind of like the visuals that they use. They're all very colorful and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it so far when they use words, because a lot of times those words are misspelt, which is
Right.
weird.
Right. Or
But
like
like if they
doubled
have
up,
a
I've seen before too.
yeah,
They have a hard time
like
fitting words in there.
but it's not perfect, but it's pretty cool for what it can do. It's really
Yeah.
awesome. There's still a ways to go. Yeah, yeah, there is. Speaking of a ways to go, we got a long ways to go in this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. We are in chapter 2,
Ew.
which is titled Desire, which, by the way, I believe is also a U2 hit. Maybe,
Probably. I
maybe.
don't know. You know how I am with the names of songs.
But Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, for those of you that have followed me in the past, I've gone through this book before, but I've read it and I've mentioned my thoughts on it, but I've never actually been able to sit down and actually talk with somebody about, my understandings of it, and then
Yeah.
hear someone else's understanding of it. And that's the power of a book club,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there's no right or wrong or perfect interpretation of what you're
Yeah.
reading. um Case in point would be like the Bible, right? There's not one specific group of like Catholics. There's not like one church that just does the Bible specifically. there's
Right.
about there's about thousands of them, and they all read the same book and they all have their different interpretations. This is similar. Think and Grow Rich, it kind of goes down to your own individual path that you're on. Like,
Yeah.
if you wake up in the morning and you're thinking that the world is a certain way, you're going to start seeing those things in the world more often, right? Like, if you think
Yeah. Yeah.
negative, you're going to see negative a lot. If you think positive, you're going to be able to pull the positive out of a lot of negative.
Yeah.
Same thing when it comes to like desire. Like, he went back and he talked about Edwin Burns. He didn't go that far back because I was in chapter 1, but he talked about Edwin Burns and how he just showed up at Edison's doorstep. And, he didn't come out and say, I'd like to try
Right.
to, eventually, maybe could I work with you? And then if it doesn't work, maybe I can go do something else,
Right.
something like
Or
that.
like I'm only going to invest this much time, and then if I'm not doing the position I want to there, I'm going to leave, or I'm going to look for other jobs just in case this one doesn't fit through. He had none of that.
This goes into, I want to say it goes into something I heard Tony Robbins say, but the one thing that I hear Tony Robbins say all the time is actually mentioned in this book. So now I'm thinking, I know where Tony Robbins got this. And he said he says he's got how does he put it? He says if you really, really want what you're going after or something like this, I'll have a better interpretation for the end of it. Basically burn the boats, right? They
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about burning the boats from back in what was it, like the English that had strolled across to take over a territory, and they were ordered to burn the boats that they came across on. That says, we will not leave this island alive if we fail.
Right.
You know,
Literally burned the boats behind them, so they had zero options but to win the battle.
right? And I think the biggest problem, and it's still a struggle that I have, is people are always thinking, well, if this doesn't work out, I have this. And that does not equal true immersion in what it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because you always know, if it doesn't work, I'm going to go drive Uber, right?
Yeah. Giving yourself an out.
Yeah. So you give yourself an out. So you're actually not all in on this mission, this goal. Your definiteness of purpose doesn't actually have the definiteness, that is a word, definiteness behind it, right?
Yeah.
You can say that you want it. A lot of people say they want it. I've been guilty of this in the past. I've said that I wanted to do things, right? I've been in the affiliate marketing, network marketing world. I've been around it since 2000, probably 11, right?
Yeah.
And that first meeting that I had, I was like, yeah, I'm in. I am absolutely all in. But I also have a day job that I got to do.
Right. Well, he specifically talks about the difference between wants, dreams, and what he's meaning here. He's meaning like just the desire to do this. So you're going to make this happen. Nothing else is an option. And that's like
Right.
a pretty next level extreme for how most people handle their daily lives, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that the power that fear has over us,
Mm.
because it's always lurking, like, I'm going to go after this. And then fear says, wait a minute, are you really? And then you're like, but I'm going to make sure this is on the side just in case.
Yeah.
Right. Because like there's many different fears. There's fear of failure, fear of success, fear of ridicule from those around you, um, fear of not living up to your own expectations, right? So
I can
like there's a
actually
lot
read
of different things.
the excerpt from the book where we're talking about Barnes if you want to
Yeah, go ahead.
sum up with that. When he went to Orange, he did not say to himself, I will try to induce Edison to give me a job of some sort. He said, I will see Edison and put him on notice that I have come to go into business with him. He did not say, I will work there for a few months, and if I get no encouragement, I will quit and get a job somewhere else. He did say, I will start anywhere. I will do anything Edison tells me to do, but before I am through, I will be his associate. He did not say, I will keep my eyes open for another opportunity in case I fail to get what I want in the Edison organization. He said, there is but one thing in this world I am determined to have, and that is a business association with Thomas Edison. I will burn all bridges behind me and stake my entire future on my ability to get what I want. And he left himself no possible way of retreat. He had to win or perish. So that's
Yeah.
directly from the book to sum up what we're getting at here. Is
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people in the business world mean when they say go all in, I believe.
Yeah. That's
Take away
pretty
your
much it.
safety
Like
net.
this is your life now
Mm-hmm.
from this point forward. Right?
Yeah.
Like
You can't be tentative about it. You can't stick a toe in the water. Like jump in.
one of the many reasons why I love you, is, and this is relatable to the book, I've always had the desire,
Yeah.
but I haven't had that solid foundation to stand on to be secure enough to say I'm all in on this
Yeah.
until
Well, we
till
haven't
we
gotten to that part in the book yet, but he does go in detail about the importance of having partners, both
oh yeah.
romantic partner and like actual business partners that are supportive and how important that is. So
It's
that is
important
coming.
because it I don't want to jump too far ahead because I know which
Yeah.
part you're talking about,
Yeah.
but it is important just for your psyche to know
Yeah.
that it's okay if I try
Some
and
kind of
fail and then
support
try and
system.
fail and then try and fail and then try and fail as long as I
Right.
keep pushing forward.
Right.
Because I know that, I know that I know that Marty, I know Lady M has my back
Hmm.
regardless.
Yeah, we're not
So,
going to stop 3 feet from goal.
oh my God,
Going back to last week, we're
them's
going to
fighting
keep
words right there.
obsessively pushing until we find that vein. So,
All right. So he talks about at the very beginning, he says, people talk about the quote break life yielded him and how they envied him for it. And they're talking about
yeah, so
Edison,
usually see
or
people
not Edison,
after
but
success
Barnes. Yeah.
and
How
not
people
during the
looked at
struggle to
him.
get there. Yeah.
Right. So that, yeah, like a lot of people, especially in today's world, they all want to be, the Russell Brunsons, the Grant Cardones, the Tony Robbins,
Right.
but they don't want to partake in the,
The risk, the
like
work.
Russell said, he failed over and over again, like so many
Yeah.
times. Like his first funnel sucked. His second
Yeah.
funnel sucked. His third funnel sucked, and it sucked, and it sucked, and it sucked. It wasn't until his seventh try, which I'm assuming if you do one try every 2 weeks, this is a couple months later of doing
Before he
nothing but
got something that
sucking,
worked. Yeah.
it found something that worked. And today he's like the king of this empire,
Right.
right?
Well,
Of the
even in the
ClickFunnels
book,
world.
he mentioned Thomas Edison became so determined to find a way to put light in everyone's home, such lamps that we use all the time now,
Yeah.
right? He failed something like 10,000 times before he settled on
Yeah.
something that worked.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, but you hear those quotes all the time,
A normal person would not have kept going.
I think like Michael Jordan said, I've missed thousands of shots. I've been entrusted to take the winning shot and missed it 27 times.
Hmm.
But the fact that I'm willing to continue to take it is what makes me the greatest.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then he dives into and this is kind of moving on from that thought, but he talks about the 6 steps in determining how that desire can actually morph into
Yeah.
riches.
Like help you manifest it.
Right. So step 1, he says, and we'll actually kind of, if you'd like, let's give some examples on our goals
Okay.
and what we're doing throughout these steps and what's going on. So it says, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. The very first goal
2 comma
that I
club.
have is the 2 comma club.
Yeah.
It's
$1,000,000.
it's so awesome that you know these terms so well now. 3 years ago, did you have any, if I would have said, "Hey, I'm going for the 2 comma club," would you think that was a money thing or like maybe like a crazy like relationship thing? You know?
I wouldn't have had any idea. Like I didn't know who Russell Brunson was. I didn't understand affiliate marketing. Like there's a whole or funnels. Those are all things that you've explained to me over the past couple of years.
Right? So the first goal that we're going for is the 2 comma club. That is
Mm-hmm.
$1 million. There's 2
Mm-hmm.
commas in a million. That is our very first goal. Step number 2 says determine exactly what you want to give in return for that amount. Like, what are you willing to give up? Right? And it's got to
Time,
be of
effort.
value to those that you're getting the money from.
Right.
So, like we're doing book club, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are free tools, free resources, opportunities for like the inner circle and the Hacker Nation and just friends and family that are working on themselves or maybe starting their own venture, they have the opportunity to actually learn and build and grow. So we do the book club, we do daily tips, we do weekly trainings. Um, I've got I've got an awesome 9 module course on how to get into
Mm-hmm.
the sports media world. Um, I will post daily, right? These are all
Yeah.
things. As a matter of fact, what I will do, I'll get to that in a second. But these are all the types of things you have to figure out what it is that you're willing to give up. But make sure they're tangible. Don't
Yeah.
put like, I'm willing to give no sleep for this. That's not realistic. Okay. We need sleep. We need rest. We need to step away from our computer. What was I
Mm-hmm.
doing just before this meeting? Be honest.
Gaming.
Yeah. So I have to step away from this computer when my mind starts to
Right.
wander too much and I lose that focus because of my ADD. I then basically push the reset button. I will go do something totally different that gets my mind completely off of my business world. But I
Yeah.
will do it for like 45 minutes to an hour and then come back and work for another hour and then
Mm-hmm.
go back to gaming. I've
There are
found,
actually scientific studies that have proved, I mean, ADD aside, most people will work better that way. We only
yeah,
have about, I mean, the study says 30 minutes of extreme focus and concentration in us. And then even if it's just 5 minutes, you got to take a break or it's like a downhill slope of
yeah.
losing focus, losing focus, losing focus. So if you can hit that little reset button, you'll actually get significantly more work done in a day.
Yep. So that's
That's
what we do. You
that's
do
what I
that as
say.
well for your job. Yeah. You'll work for so much time and then you'll gain. And you actually set your clock. Me, I kind of go by the feeling,
Yeah.
right? I should go by the clock, but usually my feeling's pretty good, give or take like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'll be like, all
Yeah.
right, I gotta get off, go back upstairs. Um, so step 2 was determine exactly what you want to give in return for the money. Step
Mhm.
3 is establish a definite date. For those of you that have been following me on my personal Facebook page, every day I post how many days have gone through so far this year and how many
Mhm.
days I have left to hit the 2 comma club. All right. And it will not matter if we get to, let's say, July 1st, which is months away. It's like
Yeah.
3 months, 3.5 months away, 3 months away. If we get July 1st and I've only made $1,000, the goal to make $1 million is August 1st.
Right.
All right. That's it. Period. That's the goal. So August 4th, 2024 is 213 days into the year.
Yeah.
That's why you're seeing me put of 213. So today's like day 60, like 3 or something, 64, 65 of 213. So basically, we're just over a quarter of the way there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, which is okay. All right. Um, so we got the date. Then we have to create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once. This part's important, whether you are ready or
Mhm.
not to put your plan into action.
If you wait for some magical thing in the universe to happen to make it all ready for you, you are going to wait because that is not how this universe works.
Nope.
You have to create that yourself. So even if you are not fully prepared or you don't feel fully prepared, you got to just do it because the worst thing that can happen is that you'll fail. Well, it's only failure if you quit trying. Otherwise,
Not
it's a
only that,
lesson.
but like that's absolutely accurate. Um, you need to stop seeing failure as a stop sign. That's where
Yeah.
most people give up. I failed. I tried. I failed. I stopped. I made 3 posts this week. I didn't get
I
any
mean,
sales. I quit.
I literally think that's a huge part of American culture is that we're taught like failure is end game. If you failed, that's it, that's over. And that's
Yeah.
not at all remotely the truth. Failure is a lesson that you learn from. If you keep going, it's no longer failure.
I go back to the movie Kill Bill, where she's with I forgot his name, the Chinese dude with the white beard that I envy so much because
Oh
I
yeah,
can't.
the master. That was
Yeah.
based on who did it.
So like she hits it and he's like, again, he doesn't say again, he taps his stick on the ground and she hits it again and he taps it and she hits it again. Right? It's a
Mhm.
you didn't break through, go away, you can't do this. It's you're gonna break through.
Mhm.
Keep going. God, that just looks painful. But yeah, I envy him so much for his beard. Like, because I'll let this get like maybe an inch longer, and then
You have
it's
to
in my
shove it.
way. I find little white hairs in my food. So like I'm just Anyway, moving on. So create a definite plan. This is so for us, this would be the publishing plan that you built.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so publishing plan, create content, schedule content, work on your Dream 100. That's
The plan.
the plan, basically
Yeah.
for us. Step number 5 is write out your definiteness of purpose statement. I said I was going to come back to this. At the last Funnel Hacking Live, they brought up Bruce Lee's definiteness of purpose statement and what he wrote out. If you want to look it up, what he wrote out was absolutely amazing. It was predated all of his like Return of the Dragon and all those awesome movies. What he wrote out actually came true. He was the biggest action star at the time. Like it was amazing. So write out your definiteness of purpose statement. I'm actually going to write a blog on how to build that statement. I may or may not be assisted by ChatGPT 4.0, but it's all accurate. So write out your purpose. What I am going to do is I'm going to write mine out. I'm actually physically going to handwrite it out, and I'm going to put it next to the reserve sign for the 2 Comma Club Award. So we'll have the award and the definiteness of purpose for our organization up there later on this evening.
I have Bruce Lee's if you want me to read it.
Go ahead. Yes, read it. Now remember, this is all before he became this huge star. Go ahead.
He had a big failure and he was really upset about it. And he picked up Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich and actually followed the instructions. So I, Bruce Lee, will be the first highest paid Oriental superstar in the United States. In return, I will give the most exciting performances and render the best of quality in the capacity of an actor. Starting 1970, I will achieve world fame, and from then onward till the end of 1980, I will have in my possession $10 million. I will live the way I please and achieve inner harmony and happiness.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. It covered everything, right down to his own personal spiritual happiness at the end.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
What he wanted, his goal was, what he was willing to do for it, how much definitive dates and dollar amount.
$10 million.
And how
I think he probably made more than that. When did his first movie in America come out?
This was when I believe he was already over here trying out films, but let's see.
Because I know he was over. Was he here doing Kato?
First American movie.
I'm trying
Enter the Dragon, 1973.
There you go.
We watched that.
We did.
It was fun.
Really good movie.
Fun. Yeah.
Really good movie. I want to watch it again. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to write out my definiteness of purpose statement, which I have done, but I've never written it out and actually put it like up for everybody to see. So it's going to be joining the reserve sign for the 2 Comma Club Award, on my top right. And we will have that before we shut it down for the evening. Next up, it says to read your statement aloud twice a day, once basically before bed and once when you get up in the morning.
Yeah, first thing in the morning and First thing before bed.
Read it aloud. And I think that is huge because it sets up your mindset for the day.
Mm-hmm.
I
And there's
wonder
something
how
very
many.
powerful about saying the words out loud instead of reading them in your head. So
Well,
bringing them into being in the universe, which is a
not to
huge part
get
of what
religious.
Hill
Yeah,
says.
I don't like talking religion, but I understand religion. I got my master's from Christian University, and one of the things that one of the statements that I loved to quote from the Bible was Proverbs 6:2, which basically says to speak your world into existence.
Mm-hmm.
So you can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it fate. There is a power to putting your intentions out there for everyone to hear.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And
if
even
nothing
if there's
else,
nobody there, the
resolves your
universe is
will.
listening. Yeah.
Yeah. And willpower is not something that you can underestimate. When we get
Read
to the
your
part about his
statement
son, that's an
aloud.
the best example I can think of.
I wonder if we can do a contest.
Hmm.
We'll send them some gear where, because honestly, I don't really think anybody in our circle would do this. This is a challenge. I'm throwing down the gauntlet on this one. I want you to post a video of yourself twice a day, starting Monday,
Tomorrow?
tomorrow, starting tomorrow,
Is that too soon?
starting tomorrow. No, because I will start. I will lead the way. I will start tomorrow on my personal page, the Inner Circle, and on the Hacker Nation of reading my definiteness of purpose statement. And the challenge is for you to reply to that with your own video. Do it twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. I'm gonna challenge. I want to know who's really serious. I'm in a really big circle of entrepreneurs, especially in the ClickFunnels. I'm gonna throw it out there. I want to know who's really serious.
Yeah.
Like who's doing this for a joke and who's actually really serious about doing this. So get yourself some gear, right? Opportunity to win some gear. I'm gonna start out tomorrow with a post on multiple. It'll be in the Inner Circle, it'll be in the Hacker Nation, and it'll be on my personal Facebook page of me reading my definiteness of purpose based on the steps that we've gone over. You are to reply to that video with the video of your own definiteness of purpose. I honestly don't think anybody's going to do it because I think that like maybe a few people that are really immersed into the ClickFunnels community. I think a few of them will,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I can't think of anybody that's really that invested
Right.
that's part of our like friends and family package.
Right. Like you got to stop thinking of your goals as a side hustle. Step out of that mindset. It would be your main hustle. Your 9 to 5 is your side hustle. That's how you're keeping a roof
Yeah,
over your head for now.
until you burn the boat.
Oh,
Until you burn the boat. It's a
so you
scary
burn
thing
the
to
boat.
do. But if you don't have a boat to get on, you got two options. You're going to swim the entire length back, or you're getting eaten by sharks. Those are your options. Or you can just take the island. It's your call. It's your call. That was number 6. So again, number 1, name the exact amount of money that you desire. Number 2, determine exactly what you are willing to give in return for that money. What actions are you going to take? Are you going to teach? You're going to learn? What products are you building? So on and so forth. Number 3 is establish a definitive date, August 1st, 2024. That's our date. That is our date. Number 4, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. Who is going to start tomorrow? How many people do you think? How many people do you think is actually going to respond with their own video tomorrow? Let's be honest.
I have 2 answers. One is I would love to see that number it be in the double digits. The realistic answer is I don't think we're gonna get any.
Yeah.
Makes me a little sad, you guys. Come on.
Yeah. Tell
Show
us
some
what
more.
you're trying to get. Don't tell us. Tell the universe.
Right. Right. And your definiteness of purpose shouldn't be a secret kept close to your heart either. Because if that's truly your purpose, then that is something that you need to share, that needs to be out there. That's how you get it to manifest. It's a very important step.
What I'm going to do is I am going to post it as well in the ClickFunnels community. And I want to see how many people, because I'm sure I will get get people there.
There you will get some.
I will definitely get people there.
Yeah.
Right. That'll probably respond 6 or 7 times a day.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put it in there too. So just kind of see how the two different people who have realized what they're worth and what their value is versus people who are just like, yeah, I want to live a good life. Maybe.
I have this neat idea. I think it'd be cool, but
it won't work. It's too late. The market is flooded. Everybody's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You want to talk about hard? Don't try and do the same thing. Try and build your own market around a product that's never been made before.
Right. Because we don't have anyone to look at that we can model after.
Yeah. I have nobody to model from.
Scratch. Yeah.
Talk about having some guts. And even more so, I've got a woman behind me who believes just as much in me as I do, which is freaking crazy. What's wrong with you?
You're good at this. That's what's wrong with me. You're easy to believe in.
All right. Couple other things he talks about before we get to the story about his son.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an awesome thing for him to put in the book. There's a couple quotes that says, practical dreamers do not quit.
Yeah.
Practical dreamers do not quit. And what he means by that, I believe, is people who talk about their dreams as if they've already happened. Right? So when
not a dream about how you're going to own a unicorn farm and either. Practical is an important word in there.
Right. Yeah. Well, he also talks about Barnes, and it goes back to Barnes.
Yeah.
Having the ability and actually achieving his dream of working as a business partner with Edison.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was something practical, but at the time before it happened, it was a dream. He was trying to push his dream into reality, but he had this dream. He said, this can happen. And he went for it.
I mean, he showed up as a homeless man, fresh off the train, looking like a tramp was how they described in the book. And he still got a job because Edison could see the desire.
It wasn't just him. I believe he talked about like Henry Ford, who had no education, had a dream to have a horseless carriage. All you had was some tools.
Yeah.
And they made it happen. Today, Ford company everywhere. Worldwide. Right? And they were worldwide before any other manufacturer was worldwide. Yeah.
How we travel. Yeah.
Just like the Wright brothers. The steel icon. Carnegie?
Vanderbilt? Carnegie, yeah.
Carnegie.
He started over here working
Poor.
in the mines, I think they said, right?
Yeah.
Like not
Yeah.
even
He
to
was a
the mill
mine
yet.
laborer.
Ended
Yeah.
up being the biggest steal.
Yep.
I mean, Carnegie Hall is still a thing.
Sure it is.
I mean, that's still a family name of rich people here in the U.S. So
Yeah. But again, everybody's like, oh, I want to be like them. Do you really? Go work in the mines for 5 years first.
right,
Yeah.
literally start
Learn
from the
about
ground up.
steel. Learn about where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Learn about the very basic foundations of where steel comes from and how to extract it. Right? And how to melt it down and actually eventually become steel.
Yeah.
Right? Go
Yes.
through that. Go work in 160 degree, in front of a 160, 170 degree furnace.
Right.
Right? Actually, it was probably what? Thousands,
I,
1,000 degree.
I have no idea, but I would not have
How much? I don't even
survived.
know how much it takes to melt everything down.
I
I mean,
don't do
I
well
would
with the
assume it's hundreds, if not
temperature, so
1,000 degrees.
actually maybe I
So
could Google it real quick because I'm curious now that you say
how
it.
much heat had to be generated to melt iron ore down into steel, so you get steel? That is crazy. But again,
Blast furnaces and steel making reach temperatures of 1600 to 2300 degrees Fahrenheit.
and it's going to be 125 degrees here this summer. You're a wuss. Go work in that stuff, and this will be like a tropical breeze here in the valley, Phoenix, Arizona.
Steel is not the way I would go for money. But I could admire someone else that took that path.
It's just amazing on people's, what do I want? How do I want to say this? Their lack of grip on reality as far as what it really takes to become successful.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people seem to think that magical fairies are just going to hand you a present one day and then you'll have
Well, not only that, even when they do, like the lottery, the majority of those people end up broke because they didn't earn it. So they didn't understand the value in it. All they saw was dollar signs, and they started thinking about all the stuff that they can buy that'll be worthless.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, if you don't earn it, that's why, like, I had one of our members of the Hacker Nation. He said, hey, man, I need you to help me out with an outline for a proposal. I said, all right, it's going to be this much. No argument whatsoever. He paid me. But the reason why he paid, even though it only took me like 45 minutes to get it done, he paid me because of the value that it meant for him and his organization.
Yeah.
What I created in less than an hour, he said, absolutely blew his mind. So that tells me that I really should have charged him more.
I am a very
Shout out to Joe.
firm believer, and it doesn't matter what your relationship to somebody is. They do not owe you what they do for a living for free. If it is what you do for a living, you have every right to charge for that. My stepdad was a hairdresser for years and years and years. And I would get upset with my sisters for getting free haircuts from him. It's like, no, you owe him a dinner at least. That's your dad, and that's what he does for a job. And he took a spot out where he could have gotten money and he made it just for you. It's not okay to take advantage of that.
Yep.
I've known a bunch of photographers, and people are always trying to give them, oh, do it for the exposure. Come shoot my wedding, and I'll let you have a wedding dinner. Like a wedding package of photos is about $1,500, and that does not equivalent to a dinner. Just anybody that needs to hear that.
Yeah.
If it's what somebody does for a living, they deserve some kind of recompense for that.
For those of you watching the video, I was looking behind me because there's a book up there. It's called Influence, which is the Influence, the Law of Reciprocity, or excuse me, hold on.
Sure.
It's been so long since I've actually read this book. Okay, so it's called Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion by Robert B. Cialdini, PhD. This is a really good book. It's been a long time since I read it. I may just read this again in my off time. when I'm not reading any of the other 6 books that I'm reading. Um,
Right.
it talks about the law of reciprocity, and basically the law of reciprocity is when somebody does something for you, you feel compelled to do something for them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like it's like the what was the group in the airports they handed out flowers, free flowers, for a donation. It
It
was
was the Tibetan monks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what they would do, and it's genius, by the way. We're getting a little bit off topic, but we're pretty much towards the end before we get to the story about his son.
Yeah.
What they would do is they would go around the airport and they would hand out these flowers, right? They would actually go outside around the airport and pick these little flowers that are growing everywhere,
Yeah.
right? Then they would go inside the airport and they would start handing them out for free, right? But they would have like a sign or something or a pamphlet that says donations are accepted. When you
Hmm.
get something for free from somebody, you then feel the need to
An
give back. So maybe
obligation.
you give them $1 for it.
Right.
Maharasha, is that name pops in my head?
She
Um,
was a specific person from World War II, the Maharaja.
um, so what they did, right? This is the genius part, because they knew that most people would not be carrying this onto the plane with them. So they would keep an eye on them. And when they threw them out, they would just go and pick it out and then go and give it to somebody else. So they would almost have like a never ending source of income coming in, because I now not everybody gave. The jerks would be like, yeah, I'm not giving. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's like the people that keep going into the supermarket and getting the free,
The free
uh,
tasters. Yeah.
yeah, those, and never buying the product at all. Oh, they're just so good. Can I get another one? You know, these are on sale right now. Yeah, I know. I just, one more. I gotta go. Yeah. But it was so genius because they were giving something to you. You felt compelled to give to them. So you would give them $1, you give them 50 cents, give them
Yeah.
the spare change in your pocket, right? Which, if you're going on a plane anyway or through metal detectors nowadays, you don't want that stuff in your pocket anyway.
Right.
So give it up. All right. But that's the law of reciprocity, right? And that basically goes back to the book where it says, I had a specific quote in my mind and I absolutely lost it. My ADD has me buried in this book now. We'll come back to that.
That is what we were doing, was going over some of your quotes.
Okay, so I've got
Just
practical
remember
dreamers
practical
do not
dreamers.
quit. And then
Yeah.
I've got every adversity brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage,
Yeah.
which now goes into the part of chapter 2 where he talks about his son.
Hmm.
And so Napoleon Hill had a son, second son. This one, when he was born, the doctor told Napoleon Hill that he would probably be a deaf mute the
Yeah,
rest of his
he's
life.
literally born without ears.
Yeah, and no holes in the skulls for the ear
Yeah,
to go through.
absolutely nothing there.
But he said to himself he had a burning desire to basically will it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So he
Yeah.
started from probably days after he was born, telling his son that he will hear
Yeah.
and that he will live a great life. And he started to notice, I think, right around the time where normal kids, that's kind of a harsh way to put it, where children start to learn how to talk. Right, his kid
Yeah.
wasn't learning how to talk, but he was starting to show some
Show signs
cognitive behavior.
he could hear. Yeah.
Yeah, so he could hear
At 3.
something. So we started playing him this record, and I forgot the name of the record. It's one of those old timey, like you like to say,
It's
old
like
timey.
like I like to say, it's like Tilladally, or I forget too. It was so crazy.
Yeah, it's a record, and his son kind of took to it, and he would play the same song over and over again But this was the cool thing, right? And he allowed
Mhm.
me. Most parents today will not allow their kids to have their teeth on the record player while they're listening to it. But
Yeah.
it was the first time where, what was it called?
Bone conduction.
Bone
That
conduction.
like
I was going to
that
say
was
infused.
new. People didn't know that was a thing. That's how you hear. That's how you hear your own voice in your head. That's why it's
Yeah.
different than when you hear it recorded. You hear it through your
So he didn't
bones.
know about that, but his son, as a young child, again, this is right around the time where most children are learning how to speak. He would be listening to he would actually play the same song over and over again himself. And then through bone, what's it called again?
Bone conduction.
Conduction. That's what I was going to
Yeah,
say.
he would bite down on the side of the record player, and
Yeah.
through that he could actually hear the music in his head.
Yeah. And that's
It's really
basically
crazy.
where he realized, you know what, this is possible. This is something that could happen. You know? And then as he grew up,
I have the name of the song if you want it.
yeah, go ahead. What's the name of the
It's
song?
a long way to Tipperary.
Look it up on YouTube. I want to hear this song. Seriously. Not during this time, but yeah, as soon as this is over, I want to hear this song.
Yeah.
And I'm going to
I don't know
listen
what
to it
copyright
in
laws
full.
are, so we can't play it during this, but you guys will have to look it up too if
Yeah.
you want to hear it.
A long way to Tipperary. Sounds like an old timey song.
It
Like,
really
yeah,
does.
I'd like to know what the lyrics are. But he
Got it.
continued to tell his son that he can actually grow up and live a normal life.
Yeah, he
Now, right around
told
the
him
time where he
fairy
was,
tales where it was not a handicap, but was in fact an advantage that he could use, an advantage to build. Like that's an
and that's
important
what he was
element
teaching
to
him.
his childhood too. He never made his child feel like there was something wrong. He made him feel like his difference was actually a power.
I'm glad you actually said that because that brings around the newspaper story.
Hmm.
So he told his son that fact that he
Mhm.
can turn his disability, if you will, into
Yeah.
a positive thing. So he wanted to be like a newspaper kid, right? He wanted to be
Yeah.
a paper boy.
Yeah.
His older brother was a paper boy, but his parents kept telling him no because he was worried
Well,
about being able to
his
hear
mother
out on the street.
specifically.
Yes, his mother.
Napoleon made sure you knew he
Yeah,
was not
he
involved with the
did say
nose.
his mother said no.
His
So
mom said
one
no.
night when they were out, I guess they had the sitter watching him.
Yeah, they said that he said something like household staff or somebody
Yeah,
along those lines. The kid, I believe, was only 6 at the time, if I remember correctly.
he snuck
He's a
out his
little guy.
window, went to one of the local shops and borrowed 6 cents
Yeah,
from one of the
like
local
the
shop
shoemaker or
guys.
something, whatever it was. Yeah,
He took that 6 cents, went and bought papers, and then at the end of the day, he went,
sold
sold
the
newspapers,
papers,
reinvested,
bought more papers, sold more papers.
went back, paid the loan off, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah,
And then he fell asleep with 42 cents in his hand.
yep.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
6 years old.
6 years old.
6. I had my first paper route when I was like in like 11,
Yeah,
I think. Probably right around that.
yeah.
6.
I liked the description too, where he talks about him and his wife come in the room, and there's his son finally back, clutching his 42 cents in his hand that he wouldn't let go of because he worked so hard for it and he was going to earn it no matter what. And she's bawling because in her mind, she's like, my little deaf child was running around and he could have been hurt. And he was
He's
like
smiling.
giddy and excited.
Yeah.
He was like, it's happening. Like this, he's not going to be defined by his disability. He is going to function in this world. That's a big moment, I think.
That's a
for
huge moment. Huge moment. And it carried on. So like
Yeah.
this led into him like going to school.
Mhm.
And Napoleon Hill made sure that he mentioned there are many, many arguments between him and the
schools.
teachers in the school
Yeah.
about him attending with the regular students.
Yeah.
He wanted to make sure that he wouldn't even let him learn sign language.
Yeah. On the controversial side of things, that was how hard of a stance he took with my child is not going to be made to feel different. My child is going to be normal. They didn't even allow sign language. His wife was with him on that page though.
Yeah. So I think it was right around his like maybe junior year, senior year, maybe something like that, where he gets an opportunity. He gets this hearing aid, which
Hmm.
he had tried hearing aids in the past and it didn't work.
Yeah.
But he gets this new model hearing aid that they wanted him to try and test out for free. It was sent to him,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden he can hear clearly
Everything. Yeah.
everything.
He called his mom on the
He called
phone
his
first
mom
thing so he
on the
could hear
phone,
her voice. I thought that was so sweet.
right?
Aw.
Like, but I mean, so long story short, he would end up getting hired by the
Hmm.
company that sent him the earplug because he put together a marketing plan on
Hmm.
how he can actually help promote this through he was driven to help other people with the same disability
Yeah.
that thought that there was no other answer.
He was got to the point where he was giving classes on how to hear and how to speak to other people that had been in a similar situation to his.
So I'm going to do a little bit of reading here
Okay.
because he starts going over like famous people who had overcome like the greatest of odds to do
Yeah.
what they do. So he talks about I haven't read this book, The Pilgrim's Process, but he talks about John Bunyan wrote The Pilgrim's Progress, which is among the finest of all English literature, after he had been confined in prison and sorely punished because of his views on the subject of religion.
Right.
O. Henry discovered the genius which slept within his brain after he had met with great misfortune and was confined in a prison cell in Columbus, Ohio, being forced, capital letters, through misfortune to become acquainted with his other self and to
Yeah.
use his imagination. He discovered himself to be a great author instead of a miserable criminal and outcast. Edison, the world's greatest inventor and scientist, was a tramp telegraph operator. As a matter of fact, I knew
Is
that
that
about
word again?
Edison. I knew
Tramp.
that Edison was a womanizer.
Yeah.
Like he absolutely was, right? He's
Yeah.
also the self proclaimed failure of thousands of inventions
Yeah. Yeah.
before he actually made it. So he says Edison, he failed innumerable times before he was driven finally to the discovery of genius which slept within his brain. Charles Dickens began by pasting labels on blacking pots, coffee pots, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Old timey.
The
But
tragedy he said the tragedy of his first love penetrated the depths of his soul and converted him into one of the world's truly great authors. Helen
yeah.
Keller became deaf, dumb, and blind shortly after birth. Now, first off, everybody is born dumb. Like
Yeah.
we're not born with a PhD. All right.
I mean, can't speak. Maybe he can't speak or
But
form
I
words.
don't like that term.
I don't
Um,
either. But
Deaf and blind shortly after birth. Despite her greatest misfortune, she has written her name indelibly in the pages of the history of the greats. Robert Burns was an illiterate country lad. He was cursed by poverty and grew up to be a drunken in the bargain. Old time drunkard in the bargain, I guess, is just a drunk. The world was made better for his having lived because he clothed beautiful thoughts in poetry, caught beautiful thoughts in poetry, and thereby plucked a thorn and planted a rose in its place. Booker T. Washington was born in slavery, handicapped by race and color. Because he was tolerant, had an open mind at all times on all subjects, and was a dreamer in capital letters, he left his impress for good on an entire race. Beethoven was deaf. This I did not know.
yeah, he is.
Beethoven was deaf. Milton was blind, but their names will last as long as time endures because they dreamed and translated their dreams into organized thought. Let me see.
Beethoven could see the music in his head.
Right.
Was
I
able to get it out that way.
I think I already
Sense of
passed. Yeah,
vibration.
I started after they talked about Ford, but Ford again grew up poor, didn't have an education. He just liked mechanics, and he
Hmm.
had a dream to create the first horseless carriage.
Yeah.
I'd say it's pretty successful
Yeah.
still today. Pretty damn successful.
And I do want to
Um,
say, like, 'cause there's a lot of controversy about Edison today actually inventing those things himself versus discovering the inventions.
Yeah.
But there's still something to be said about the person who can discover the things and get them marketable and out there.
Yeah. If you
That's still
improve
a
on an
thing.
idea, even if the idea isn't yours, if you improve on an idea, that's
Yeah.
pretty damn good.
Or you pick up, like, think about the Shark Tank. That's what they do. They go out and pick up good ideas and corporalize it and get it out there.
Yeah.
That's
We need to start watching
that's
Shark
a
Tank.
that's a valid form of success. Yeah, I actually find that show interesting. I got into that because of Daniel,
You know what?
Kate's hubby.
Let's take a break this month from Archer, which is hilarious, by the way. This is our evening show. Let's watch some Shark Tank.
Okay.
Let's talk about the products and their pitches and kind of
Yeah.
how it goes.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound so exciting, people? This is couples night. We're breaking down a business plan. That is. That's funny. This is our life. This is what you signed up for, babe. This is what you signed up for.
I'm all in. No worries.
All right. Awesome. What else am I missing here? I think I'm pretty much into it. So it basically comes down to a burning desire. 3 parts, I would say. A burning desire, faith that it'll be achieved, and massive action.
Yeah.
Without action, and I posted this on my own personal notes, without action, there can be no growth. There can be no progress. There can be no success. But while we're on that, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. Progress, any progress, is success. An inch forward today is an inch ahead of tomorrow. Holy Hallmark. Write that down. That was pretty good. An inch forward today is an inch ahead of tomorrow.
Yeah. That's what I always I've had several friends that were, there's no nice way to say it. So, like, morbidly obese, maybe is how we want to phrase it. And one of the big flaws that people have in general is they think you're going to go out and run 5 miles and just lose all the weight right away. And that's not realistic from some certain starting places. So my coaching is the baby steps thing. Like we were talking about, like if you go out and you just walk 10 minutes every day until you're able to make that 15 minutes every day, until you're able to make that 2 walks a day, until you're able, like, but you got to start somewhere. I have a girlfriend that went from, she worked on the second floor and I had her going up the flight and down the flight of stairs once a day, slipped and fell, broke her wrist and an ankle, like that level of where she was at physically. Right. But she took my advice for the walks and she got from where she could barely handle a 10-minute walk to she's taking 10-mile bike rides. She's lost over 150 pounds, still has somewhere to go, but like it makes you have to do it right. Those little steps might feel like they're not worth taking because it's not like a big success, but you'll get there. Like you'll get there. You got to do it.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm smiling for a reason. She's talking to you, but she's really talking to me.
No, I've already had that conversation with you a bunch of times. It's a good example of this exact point we're making, though.
My problem, not with what you said. What you said makes 100% sense. My problem is that I would much rather build my mind into the best shape possible ever and push my body aside. Now I know that eventually that'll catch up to me.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to accept the challenge. What is it?
Anything that is worth accomplishing is worth taking the baby steps for. If you have your directive, then you need, even if it's just like you said, if it's just a tiny little bit, that's that tiny little bit further towards your goal you are than you were yesterday.
You know what? This is the wrong show for this. We don't have a show for this. But it's the 5th of March. I guess we can start this next week because we have to put it into our budget for the food.
Right.
Because we budget everything, which is smart. I will follow your orders for the rest of the month. I will eat I will eat what you tell me to eat, with the exception of our part of our sports podcast when we break down
Yeah.
You
We
Got
got to do the
Sauce, because
sauces.
that's
Yeah.
important. We're getting paid for that. I will work, like, if you come downstairs and it's 8 o'clock at night, you like do 20 crunches. I got to do 20 crunches. If you tell me to walk up and down the stairs 5 times, I walk. If you tell me we got to go for a walk, God dang it, we're going for a walk. I'm an inside body. Like, I'm an inside body. Like, this is my love of my life right here. Outside of you, of course. This is my ideal environment, right? Sports and business. This is where I thrive.
Yeah.
So I very rarely go out of the house. Like, true,
Yeah.
right?
We need to do
Well,
that
hey,
some more.
you're in charge. Put together the plan. You
All
don't have
right.
to schedule it. Like, you don't even have to let me know. You can wake me up at 2 a.m. and be like, go for a walk. Now, here's the deal.
He's always saying that because he knows I never ever will.
I
I'm
may
not
curse
crazy.
you out, but it doesn't
not
mean I'm
abusing
not going to do it. But I'll be muttering a bunch of Bostonian stuff at you that you probably never heard before. But just know that it's all in love, and it really means, this is like in the army. In the army, we have a term called hua, right? So when an officer or somebody, says something to us and we want to acknowledge, we just say hua.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go take that hill. Hua. Go take the hill.
I actually know the origin of that where that saying came from.
Share.
I can't remember the tribe, but there was a tribal chief that met with the American military probably like the 1830s, and he tried to say, "How are you?" And it came out something similar to hua. Ura for, I think, is the Marines. There's a similar twist for each branch on the same phrase.
Like
all dates
hoorah
back
for the Marines, hoorah for the Air Force.
Yeah, the soldiers thought
Sorry
it was
about
so
that
cute.
for the
They
Coast
started
Guard.
saying it to each other, and it's stuck because it's hundreds of years later, and we're still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
All
Blackfoot,
right, so
maybe?
you're in charge. Do you have anything like relevant to the book to finish up? We're going into chapter 3 next week, which is faith. So we got desire and we got faith.
Don't be scared of the thing that you want to the point where you don't let it manifest, where you block yourself. You got to allow that desire to fill you up, because that is what's going to drive you into bringing it into reality.
The basic foundation, I'll leave you with this. The basic foundation of desire is imagination. If you can imagine what you want, then you can build a desire to go after it.
Yeah.
Open up your mind a little bit. If you don't know how, start reading books.
Say it out loud. Put it into the universe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it's odd on how like those things happen. Although the universe with me and you kind of threw me a curveball, because I went like 6-7 years going, I love the single life. And I told everybody. And then here you are after a time at the aquarium.
It was the ball game. I chickened out at the aquarium.
Right. But yeah, it's amazing how the universe would be like, yeah, that's not what you really want.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, starting tomorrow, you are in charge. I mean, you've always been in charge anyway, but she lets me do a lot. All right. So you got a plan to put together.
I do.
You're in charge. Sucker. All right. That's it for us. That was a pretty good book club. We got a lot out of this chapter. So we will see you guys next week. We were going over chapter 3 of Think and Grow Rich, titled Faith. Have a great night, everybody.